Welcome to She Sells Radio. Welcome to day 23 of the Finish Strong Challenge. I am so glad to be here with you today. And as always, if you are joining in real time and you've been working on the challenge with me, well done. I want to know how it's going. If you are jumping in and you're brand new and you're like, what is this challenge? EliseArcher.com/challenge, totally free, all about helping you close out 2022 strong. And you can apply these principles to whenever you're listening to this as well. So today we are talking about how do you follow up confidently with your prospects? So I'm going to tie in the challenge for today to this concept. And here is the thing that I always believe is that you are a couple of outreaches away from your next big break, your next big win. And it's very likely, even if you are starting from scratch, you have people in your network who are going to be your customers. And if you are not starting from scratch, you have pending leads and opportunities in your network that literally just need a little bit of follow up and outreach to become amazing dream clients for you. And what I also believe is that if your goal that you're looking to accomplish, if you're participating in the challenge, which is all about, what's the one thing you want to really do for yourself before the end of this year? If it's a sales goal, to hit that goal, it very well will not require a brand new relationship. Now, maybe it will. And if so, then you follow your process there, but it very likely could be accomplished with the prospects and clients who are already in your existing network who just haven't converted yet. And yet, how often do we not follow up or not follow up enough because we're afraid of bugging somebody? We're afraid of seeming needy. We feel awkward about it. Like I've encountered all of those things in my journey in sales and in entrepreneurship. And I've done the mindset work around that. But I've also found that there are some nuances to how we reach out to unsold prospects that really do make a difference. And I'll share this quick little story, and then I'll share some strategies for you today. But there's a woman who I hired as a mentor a couple months back who I'd worked with previously and was amazing. And then we parted ways for just because it was kind of like the relationship was complete. And she continued to follow up with me for, gosh, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. And we would connect, we would chat. Like, I love the woman. She's amazing. She changed my life in so many ways when I first started working with her. And the timing wasn't quite right. And the alignment wasn't quite right as she was reaching out, but she continued to reach out. It wasn't like she's blowing up my inbox every week, but periodically, like every few months, hey, I'm thinking of you. I've got this opportunity. I wanted to reach out and see if you're interested. And if she had taken my initial no as rejection, or if she'd taken it personally, and who's to say, sometimes, I don't know, maybe she did, but she kept on following up anyway. And knowing this woman, I also don't think she did. you know, I wouldn't have hired her for quite a bit of money like I did a few months ago. But it was that consistent, persistent, personalized, hey, I'm thinking about you. I've got an opportunity. It wasn't just the like, hey, how are you type of outreach. It was always with a specific focus and end in mind, which I appreciate with my follow up and with my outreach, because I think sometimes we just get stuck in the relationship building loop and it like never progresses to a deal or a sale. So I'm not about that either. But had she not persisted, and it was probably like, I don't know, it wasn't a ton, but it was like 3 or 4 different outreaches over the course of a year or so. Even when she had no inclination that I was going to say yes to something, where suddenly when she reached out, the timing was right. The messaging was right. I felt like I was ready to hear it. And I was like, yes. And I quickly went on to buy a lot of her programs and opportunities like all at once. And so with that, I have learned that number one, we can't take it personally at all if we follow up with someone and they don't reach back out, because it's like, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. I have clients now who I work with in my highest level programs who are in, 6-figure private mentoring with me. And I reached out to some of these clients for months, like thinking that they would be a perfect fit for actually one of my lower end programs, and not hearing back, not hearing back, not hearing back. And then come to find out there was just, for some of these women, there's like a lot of personal stuff going on and it just wasn't the right time, but it actually made more sense for them to enroll in one of my higher level programs when we did connect. So it's, when we know the real story of what's going on behind the scenes, your brain will try, well, if your brain's like mine, it'll often try to make a story of, this person doesn't like me, they're not interested, they're annoyed by me. It's not usually ever the case. It's usually the person has some stuff going on, and either they just don't even have the energy to let you know and to say no, or they're just like, it's just not a priority for them right now. It doesn't mean anything personal about you. But to me, when I follow up with someone, it's all about the energy. And I only follow up with prospects who I truly want to work with and who I think I can help. And when I do it from that energy and it's consistent and there's just not a response back, or it's the response back is a not right now, it's like, cool. It's not personal at all. I really trust the timing of that. But the key is I continue to follow up with them. And so that's where I want to really encourage you today. And I'm going to give you something tactical to do for today's challenge in just a moment, but we have to be consistent and disciplined about following up, but with the energy of, for me, what's important is, number one, only following up with people you really want to work with and who you truly think you can help. Number two, this is to me so important. We have to be unattached to whether someone buys from us or not. And so this is where we really get into one of the core principles that to me is like a guiding principle of how I think about she sells and things that I learned from amazing mentors over the years, is being attached to what, but not how. Right. And so you get to be attached to, this program is getting full, this retreat is going to be filled and sold out. Like, I'm hitting my sales goals, but we don't get to be attached to who our customers are. So when you're reaching out, and I'll share, I was doing some prospect follow-up and outreach last night and this morning with some different things we've got going on. And it was the end, like I was reaching out to women I'd love to serve, love to support, love to work with. But the energy is, I know I'm going to hit my goals no matter what. From where I can, from my vantage point right now, these are the women who, gosh, I'd love to serve and work with in this way. And I'm also so open to, there are so many women out there who I can support and serve, and I don't know all of them yet. And I also don't know if someone who's maybe just for whatever reason, not top of mind for me right now, they're like a perfect fit, and I'll be guided to reach out to them, or they'll connect with a piece of our marketing. So I'm very, very open to what's in the best and highest good of all. And from that place, doing outreach. So I'm unattached to who says yes and who says no. That's a really critical part of your follow-up outreach, because if we get too grippy or clingy with it, that energy comes through. So that's the second thing. So the first is follow up with people who you really want to work with and who you think you can help. The second is you get to be very unattached to whether they say yes to you or not. And then number three, I've learned to be really real with people when I reach out. And this is what I said to some women I was reaching out to last night, who I've followed up with pretty consistently. And it hasn't been a yes. Either we worked together in the past and it's just not a yes right now, or we haven't worked together yet, but I just know in my heart I can really help them. And this is kind of how I'll position it, as like, look, hey, I'm reaching out. I've got this thing going on that I think could be amazing for you. And I said this in a few of the messages I was sending yesterday, like, I hope you don't mistake my persistent follow-up with you for anything other than, I love, and this, for these women, it was appropriate in the context because I know them personally. Like, I love you. I love what you're all about. And I'd love to support you in whatever way I possibly can, if it's aligned. So it's kind of like that energy where like, I'll call out, hey, I know I followed up with you a few times on this. I hope you know, like, let me tell you what this is. This isn't me stalking you. This isn't me like needing you to buy from me. Now, don't say those things, but that's kind of the underlying energy of this. This is like, I think you're incredible. I'm so excited about what you're doing. And I'd love to support you in that. If that's of interest to you, let me know. So it's kind of like that. So just calling it out in your messaging and being real, because they know you followed up a few times. They know they haven't answered or they've said no. We get to just be so real with people. So those are the three keys to me to confident prospect follow-up that I want you to implement for today's challenge. So again, reach out to people who you want to work with. So it's, it's authentic. Number two, unattached to whether they buy from you or not. Number three, be real in your outreach. Like just speak to them from the heart, right? Call it out. I'm following up again. Here's why. So with that, your challenge assignment for today is I want you to make a list of who are those dream clients that you just for whatever reason have not followed up with yet. Or maybe you did and then you haven't again, and it's time to do. So, who are those people, those customers who you would love to support, would love to work with? And then from this place of service, I want to invite you to reach out to them today. Okay. And just sending them that message. You're unattached to whether they say yes or not. But I tell you what, number one, you're going to feel really good that you did it and that you helped move the ball forward on that. And then number two, you just never know when it's actually going to be the perfect time for someone, as it has been when I've continued to follow up with prospects. And like I told you about the story today of the woman who continued to follow up with me. And so you just never know the timing in somebody's life. So that is your challenge for today. Again, if you're participating in this challenge in real time and you complete the daily assignments, you're going to get entered to win. We've got some really, really cool prizes as a part of this challenge. So you can go to elisearcher.com/challenge, get yourself registered. Then when you complete the challenge for today, which is to make your list and actually do your outreach, don't just make your list, the only person you're hurting is yourself if you don't do the outreach. So do the outreach, send people a message, touch base, right? See how you can help support them or serve them before the end of the year. And then from there, you're going to share on social, share your Finish Strong Challenge graphic, tag me. I'm at Elise Archer, and use the hashtag She Sells Challenge to share that you completed today's. I can't wait to hear how this goes for you. And hey, guess what? By the way, you're going to make some money as a result. So not a bad thing when we consistently follow up from that place of service. It does come through. So go do your future self a favor and do this follow up now. I hope you enjoyed today's challenge. I'll be back tomorrow for day 24 of the challenge.